Hey, I'll give it 1 sec to let the live uh, get rolling. If you're watching this after the live, you can go ahead. I'll jump in at like 2 minutes. So if you want to, if you're watching this in the future, just jump ahead 2 minutes. Otherwise, for the folks watching it live, we will get rolling here in a minute and 20 seconds. I hope everyone is having a lovely, lovely weekend. I'm going to share some of the strategies that we use and we're talking about in the acquisition holdco program. And I think you're going to get some gems. I like to only come and share stuff when we got some gems. Um, if you haven't yet, definitely check out the Patreon. Also, be sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and shoot any questions that you have, whether it's private equity, acquisitions, business growth, um, any of the cool stuff, business brokering, merger specialist stuff. Got a lot going on. And this kind of lends itself to what we're going to be talking about, which is, kind of building a one-person conglomerate. I mentioned in the previous one-person video, just for me, I don't have any direct reports, which was something that 10 years ago I started to design the business so that, I don't have any direct employees outside of my main assistant. And then within each business, obviously, there may be folks that are running that business, but none of it is, it's all self-sustaining. So there's somebody that's running that business, there are managers within it, and that kind of thing. So I want to talk about just starting that from the beginning, because I think there are a lot of folks that really you're getting into this stuff and you're trying to figure out acquisitions from the standpoint of how can I do this and have the most freedom. And I can just tell you, like, there's the more direct reports that you have, the more employees that you have, the less freedom you're going to have, because they're going to be coming to you. And so the more that you can design a business that doesn't require that, the better. And the really cool thing is, as we are, I think there was this first evolution in business that was generated by being able to outsource to all over the world and have kind of an independent contractor team. I think now we're going to see a very speedy evolution because of AI and the capabilities that it represents, of either doubling, tripling the efficiency and productivity of the people that you do have, or just making those people not very necessary the more that you're able to automate some of those things. Now, I think part of the other big thing here is it's just evolution. One of the things that we see is that individuals become more and more powerful, especially if you understand how to leverage tools properly and even leverage businesses the right way. That's something that we talk a lot about in the private equity fund incubator. The reason that private equity makes so much money is that they understand how to look at the business, not get involved with the headaches of the business. Because the headaches of the business are the operations, the customer service, and all those other things. And this is a big part of, I think this one person conglomerate gets to is, how can I look at this business, understand the exact leverage points that are going to have the biggest impact, just focus my attention there and not have to get involved with anything to do with the operations. I think it's important to remember that when you look at the wealthiest people in the world, the wealth doesn't necessarily come from operations. It doesn't come from like cash flow. The business comes from some kind of exit. When you look at Jeff Bezos, he didn't make billions and billions and billions of dollars from running Amazon. In fact, the salary that he took was very small for all those years, because he knew that the real value would be in the exit. And so the more that you're able to focus on that, it's one of the reasons that in Good Merger, we see more value in understanding how to maximize the exit of a business. Then it's great to be able to make money, and got a couple of guys that are doing six figures in commissions, but it's not as valuable to just do that. The real value is you get to understand how to maximize the exit of a business, and then that becomes this really unique and valuable asset that you can provide to the market in the form of a service or in your own deals. If you are an expert, we just had a business that we brought to market, and we priced it pretty high, and it ended up getting bid up 30% above the asking price, and all cash. So we was at all cash offers. We realized we had several all cash offers and more that were coming in, and we basically said, hey, the all cash isn't going to get it even at the asking price. You're going to have to bid up, and we ended up at a 30. So understanding how to create that dynamic. If you're going to do a deal, it's better to learn that first. It's better to get good at that skill set first. And what we're finding now is it's better not to even buy the whole business. If you can get into a business, get some equity, execute on that kind of strategy where you can get them 30% more than they would get in any other market, then now you're at the point where the most wealth is created. Like we were talking about Jeff Bezos. So the most wealth is created at the exit. So don't take 20 years trying to figure out how to do the operation, how to do the marketing, how to do the financing, how to hire people, how to deal with firing people, how to deal with, social justice warriors that want to take off every week for a new protest or a protest within your company. It's just like, it's an endless number of issues that come up when you're trying to manage the business, and the real wealth is only in this one tiny part. And most people, and this is one of the craziest things, most people dedicate and put a lot of work into all of those things, and then they come to us to help them with the exit. And we've got to just start from the very beginning, teaching them how to do think about and prepare for the thing that they're going to get the most wealth out of that business after they've spent all that time trying to get all of those other skill sets. So one of the things that, if we think about and we fast forward to the future, I mentioned AI, and that's a small part of this. I think there's some other parts of this that we'll start to see are trends, and it's what we dig into in the acquisition holdco process. And it's trying to look at where the trend is now and where real value is going to be generated. And part of those, you look at, it's just like we go through this. There's about 25 very specific things, but let's talk about one of them, which is something simple. So you look at social media and you try to decide, all right, based on where social media has been, how can you create unique and high value relationships? Before, you could do that in the business space very simply. You could do that just by having a motivational quote that you put up, and you put a bunch of those up. You do a video about motivation. Gary Vee has done an amazing job of that, of just like pumping people up and building this big audience. Because that's been done for so long and now you see so much of it, most people, and you just see it with like new accounts when we're looking at businesses and they're talking about, oh yeah, like for a while our accounts were growing like this, and then we saw this big drop off. You're even seeing it in SEO and some other things, and we get to see this stuff at a higher level just because we look at so many businesses. But if you're if you're doing that today, now so many people are being bombarded that they just end up blocking it out, and they're certainly not going to follow you for you being the next. Sorry, I'm close to the airport. For you being the next person that's going to, come give some motivational quote. So if you look at kind of the next step of value, it's how do you build a real relationship? Well, more than just giving somebody some motivation, it's actually helping them to achieve whatever problem they're facing. In our bookkeeping business, we want to actually, figure out, okay, what are the small services that we can provide to just get somebody over a hump so we can build a relationship with them. And I think that's what basically we're going to see in the future. The future is actually providing services for the people that you want to kind of be your followers or you want to connect with, beyond just platitude. And some of the service could even just be like, okay, here is a book, or here is in-depth training, and that kind of thing. But I think even that, because of Chat GPT, that's kind of where we are right now, but it's going to quickly go away, just because I've got a buddy that just wrote a book yesterday, in a few minutes, on Chat GPT, and now he's about to put it on Kindle or whatever. And so a lot of those things. And so I think where you get the most value is by building relationships with people where you're providing a service. And the really great thing is you can actually generate income from providing those services. So even, when we're helping people create their holding company, we've got a lot of folks, and we were just talking about this on our call this week, where a big mistake that deal makers and people in acquisitions make is that they don't make money off of their deal flow. So they're generating all of this deal flow, and the only purpose of the deal flow is that they're going to buy one of the businesses. Well, that's cool, but what if you could make money off of all the work that you're doing to generate that deal flow? And so that's one of the aspects of building an acquisition holding company, as opposed to, because you want to get into the business of acquisitions. It's not just, let me go find an acquisition. That's just being a business buyer. A business buyer is looking for an acquisition that they're going to buy. Right? They're just looking in the market and then they buy it, and that's it. If you're in the business of acquisitions, and specifically when we're creating the holding company, it's like we're trying to figure out with each client what's going to be your income stream from each of the people that you're that are going to come through your deal flow funnel. Now, it's also, it's kind of the same philosophy, and you can start to see kind of my thinking, which, I hadn't really opened up as far as like, what's the connection between all these different things? But when we look at Good Merger and all of our merger specialists, one of the reasons that a lot of them come in and become merger specialists with us is that becomes a way for them to generate income off of their deal flow. Because through Good Merger, now they can earn broker fees, they can earn lending, doing business lending fees, so they get commission off of that. And then we've got three other things, franchises, some all different services that they can provide. So now within their funnel, they're bringing in deal flow. They can go after the deals that they're interested by. But there's going to be, if you're doing this correctly, if you're doing this the right way, of every 100 deals that you look at and consider, there's only be about 20 that are worth doing due diligence on. Only 3 or 4 that are worth making offers on. And if the offers are proper, there should be one that you get close. Maybe 2 accept the offer, then you get into true due diligence and realize which one is better, and then you're closing one. So that's 99 other deals that you could have earned a commission on as a merger specialist. You could have earned a commission on as a commercial lending broker, all of these things. And so that's kind of the funnel that they're building as merger specialists. So, which, by the way, if you are interested in joining us at Good Merger, be sure to go to goodmerger.com. So the future is building those relationships. And so now, let's say you have somebody that come into your kind of funnel, and they're not ready to sell, or they're not at a point where you're ready to buy it. forget, like, the past was, all right, I'm gonna put that, sorry, Fly was trying to get my drink. I'm gonna put those people on a email um, subscription list, and I'm gonna do what they call the email drip. So I'm gonna just drip emails to them and build a relationship that way. And all of these things are now just things that you have to do. So I'm not saying you got to do the social media posts, you got to do the email drips, but all of that stuff is just the most basic level of business. And so now, if you really want to build a relationship, because that person's going to be getting emails from everybody, email is just too easy. And again, Chat GPT is going to make all of this stuff go on overload. Like, there's going to be more email newsletters than ever before because they're so easy. There's going to be more books and stuff where it's the big whatever, what do you call it, lead generation. Their specific name is not coming to me, but when you're trying to set yourself apart, none of that stuff, having an ebook, having an email list, having a newsletter, having a lot of great stuff on your Twitter, none of that stuff is going to set you apart. It's going to be a lot of really great stuff being generated. So in order for you to set yourself apart, you've got to offer something that is more of a service, because having something that, it's like, oh, I want to get your email. If I just give you this ebook, that's just going to be like, dude, like, I'm getting that 1,000 times a day. Everybody has some ebook that ChatGPT has written. You want to say, all right, my leads that I'm going after, they all need this service. And I think a service is what can set you apart. And the really cool thing is you can generate money from it. So, we've got some ladies down in Georgia. I won't go into their niche just because I didn't ask if I could talk about it, but they're currently in the Holdco program. They've acquired 3 businesses so far this year. They've already closed on 3 and have a couple more that are in the pipeline. And, it's really, really cool because what we're setting up is they're getting paid for the deal flow that got them those 3. And then they are getting paid by people where they're basically training the buyers as well. So they're getting paid on both ends. They're getting paid to find people that have businesses they want to buy, and then we're setting up a system where they're getting paid for the people that are going to buy the business from them. And so that's how you want to think, because that changes things from you just being a business buyer into you being the person that is in the business of acquisitions. And in every step of the process, it's a profit generating part. It's not that you're just like, oh, I've got to do this work to find the business that I'm going to buy. So yeah, that I think is a little bit of part of this. And the really cool thing is, if you set all this up the right way, you end up kind of being in the middle, and you're able to offer these things to businesses, and you don't have to necessarily, the other part of this is you can offer those things and end up getting a equity percent in the business, so that you don't have to go in and buy the whole business. Like, I am basically against buying whole. There's just no reason to buy whole business. Too many opportunities out there, and it doesn't make sense to take over the whole business and take over all the operations and all the headache and all the work, when, like we talked about at the beginning, the goal is to get that business and maximize and be able to put your energy and use your skill set that you should be learning that maximizes the exit. So now, if I can get 30-40% of that business, triple the value of that business, never have to do a day of work in the operations or figuring out the marketing or any of that, and still, at the end of the day, get a value as if I bought that business. You're basically getting 90%. If you're able to triple it, you get a 30% valuation on the front end. So let's do, I'll talk more and kind of just what this process looks like, if this is something y'all are interested in. Also, check out the Patreon, but the real place that we build this model out is through the acquisition holdco program. So, and that is we're gonna end accepting new people at the end of this month. So we only got 2 more weeks. We've already started, but you're going to be too far behind if you don't get in 2 weeks. So if you're interested in that, definitely reach out. We've got got a really amazing group of folks that are going through the process. About 20 folks right now, all with just doing some really cool stuff. Like I said, we just started. We've got the ladies in Georgia. They already closed 3 business. We got one guy. He's preparing to exit his deal because, like I said, like our goal is like, hey, we're getting in these things. We're not trying to hold them forever. I think people are too focused, and that's one of the risks is that they get into the deal and they're trying to hold it forever. We want you to be figuring out how am I getting in and getting out. So we've got Ephraim in Texas. We're getting ready for him to exit a deal in May. We just started the program in January. All right, let's do a few comments. All right. First one is, hello, sir. Do the Patreon videos teach exits as well? Yes. So we do have videos in the Patreon, over 100 videos in there, and a lot on building for exit for sure. Chap, what's up, homie? Yes, this is one of the most important things. And I wish I would have gotten, my biggest mistake was even on my first deal. I had a 7-figure offer to sell that business and decided to hold on to it. And there's just so many things that you can't control. And in that case, what I couldn't control was the .com fallout, and just the economy, bottom falling out of the economy. And being in those situations where you turn down those offers. So now I've got an attitude of every business I own is always on the market. So we're always willing to sell, and that's just the whole point. I think the goal of only difference between being an employee and going into business is that you can't sell the job and you can sell a business. Like if you're just going to do work and get income, there's not a lot more difference. I mean, you can get a little more leverage, but the real power of a business is that you can sell it and you can't sell a job. Like you can get leverage in a job and have a bunch of employees under you and get paid a commit, just like all these things. So there's a lot of similarities where you can find a job that has similar benefits and income on an income basis to running a business, a lot of times with less headaches. The real key difference is that you can't sell that job. You can sell the business. And there are too many people that are running a business right now that aren't even, because they call us and we talk to them when they're looking for us to help them sell their business and maximize their exit. And they're just focused on income. And, it's a job mentality where you're focused on income, as opposed to, like I was saying, the wealth mentality is like Jeff Bezos. He didn't care. It's like, I just need enough money so I can live, my salary. Like when he was doing, and he knew my goal is to exit. Bill Gates knows my goal is to exit. It's not the income, and poor business owners really get excited about. We see it all the time. It's like, oh, I'm a 6-figure earner. I'm a 7-figure earner. It's like, no matter what that amount is, it does not compare to preparing a business. If you have like preparing a business to exit. All right, Dr. Andre, what is up? Says watching you on LinkedIn. Appreciate you for popping in. And lastly, we'll get out of here. Luke says, you inspire me, Ace. I certainly appreciate that, Luke. Hope you're having a great weekend. Hope everybody is. Be sure to subscribe. Be sure to check out the Patreon. It's a great way to kind of start to interact. And then, but I really would encourage you. I think we've got just the greatest opportunity ever in the form of good merger. And then if you're doing deals, then I think you should definitely be going through the holdco process. So reach out. Look forward to connecting with y'all. Have a great rest of your weekend.